Hi, thanks for joining me and welcome to the Business Unplugged show, here to hold your hand at every stage of your personal and business growth.
uh, how you get started with your e-commerce business, basically.
Okay.
Would you like to tell us a little bit about it?
About Celestial Gifts. Yes, so I started Celestial Gifts in 2005.
Okay.
I'd actually left the UK. I had been there for 10 years working with investment banking, and I came back to SA and I set up Celestial Gifts, which is essentially my personal bucket list. And if people don't know what that is, it's a list of things to do before you die. Everyone
Okay.
told me that it would be a really silly idea to set up such a business, but I launched it on an e-commerce platform, and it became my primary source of income from 2005 up until the pandemic. Actually, it was my main source of income, and I managed to build it to a multi seven-figure annual income, which was no easy feat. As you know, here in South Africa, there's quite a lot of obstacles that we have in our way. We had the water crisis here in Cape Town, and we've had a recession, and obviously the pandemic. So, yeah, it's been a very
Yes.
challenging journey, but it's a wonderful concept because I don't need that many staff, and
Mm.
also you don't really carry any equipment or stock. It's selling experiences essentially. So that's a little bit about Celestial Gifts.
Okay. You said your background is in banking, right?
Yes.
So how come you ended up being in gifting business? How,
Yes. Well, for me, it's I always wanted to have my own business,
okay.
and I didn't want to be in the UK any longer. It was um, very crowded, very cold, rainy. I wanted to come home to sunny SA,
Mhm.
spend time with my parents who were becoming quite sick, and I also wanted to start a family. So
Okay.
for me, I wanted to use all of the experience and knowledge that I had, from a corporate environment, and create my own special business that I could actually have from home,
Mhm.
as well as have my family. So that really is the intention behind starting Celestial Gifts from a corporate environment, is using all of that in a home business and being able
Mhm.
to sell it to
Mhm.
big corporates, which I was able to do, and I'm sure we'll chat about that later.
Yes, of course. Okay. No, that's beautiful, but I'm quite intrigued with the fact of your background is actually in banking, but you ended up starting
Yes.
a business in gifting. So I actually really want to know exactly, do you had some knowledge about this aspect of the business before you get started?
So no, actually I didn't. So when I was in banking, it was from an operations perspective. So it was essentially doing building restacks, moving the banks between different buildings, supporting the trading floor, supporting all of the traders, being a runner, working with human resources, dealing with, I suppose, as a divisional administrator for the investment bank, there was a lot of finance involved, but certainly not, I wasn't trading or anything like that. But
Okay.
the financial aspect of running a division was applied in my own business, in that I didn't have a loan or anything from anybody else. I was very good with my finances and cash flow and accounts, and just making sure that the money that I was receiving in my business I had to keep a lot of it for the redemption of vouchers and about just, good financial management skills. That's probably what I took out of, banking and applied within my own business, and also the level of professionalism and being able to use that when getting into the banks here myself to sell the experiences within their rewards and loyalty programs. So that is something that I was able to do in terms of banking. Big business did not intimidate me on any level when it came to peddling my own small business, trying to get in there. And I think that's what I want to say is the big business doesn't intimidate me because it can be small business.
Yes, definitely. So you had previous experience of how to deal with big businesses, to say.
Yes, that's right.
Okay. So which one can you say is your biggest clientele?
Sorry, you're breaking up there. Can you repeat that?
Okay, which one is your biggest market? Which ones are the clients that you serve in your gifting business?
So here in South Africa, the experience business is for South Africans, but I focus predominantly in Gauteng because, believe it or not, I mean, business is based on need and not want. And unbelievably, everything I sell, which is another error of my business, is based on want. So it's like a Ferrari experience or an aerobatic flight or a vintage flight, hot air ballooning. These are things as South Africans we actually don't need.
Exactly.
Exactly. So in Gauteng, we all understand that Gauteng has, it is the financial hub there, big businesses are there, and there tends to be quite a lot of wealth in Gauteng. So I focus on the Gauteng market, and also 80% of my turnover pre-pandemic was as a result of the partnerships that I built with the South African banks. All of the experiences were actually sold on the rewards and loyalty platforms such as Absa Rewards, Nedbank Greenbacks, FNB eBucks, American Express, and UCount, etc. It's obviously slimmed down a lot since the pandemic, but the experiences are still on the eBucks platform.
Okay. So is it better to say that you are into B2B or B2C?
Both.
Or both?
Both. Definitely both.
Okay. No, beautiful. So since you started this in 2005, what can you say was your biggest challenges that you faced?
My biggest problem would definitely be, oh, sorry, I think you've got the order wrong. I'd say that the biggest problems that I faced would most definitely be getting the brand awareness and reach, really getting the business out there, trying to partner the business with the banks so that, look, we all know that you use the same amount of energy to sell one product as you do to sell 1,000 products. So I wanted to get the business partnered with the banks. And of course, being a small business, it was, I suppose, getting yourself heard, getting yourself seen.
Yeah.
So I wish back then that I had had the experience of digital marketing that I have now in order to be able to do it myself. And definitely getting into the banks was a challenge, but I persevered. And like I said earlier, I didn't allow the banks to intimidate me. And through perseverance and tenacity, I was able to partner the business with the banks so that we could get the vouchers sold in bulk.
Okay.
Because obviously the margins are quite tight. So you need to be selling a lot of the vouchers in order to be making it worthwhile your efforts.
Exactly. No, there's so much insightful, but I'm so much intrigued with your partnership with the banks. like how exactly did you get into that? Is it based on revenue sharing perspective, or what exactly are you doing this?
It was really difficult. It was essentially finding out who was responsible for the rewards and loyalty platforms
Okay.
and consistently following up with them, bearing in mind that I did have one main competitor. I
Mm,
believe that South Africa's the um, Celestial Gifts is the main gift experience company. There's another one, and we've actually become friends. We're looking at a collaboration
okay.
post-pandemic. But there was a main competitor already in most of the banks. And they didn't want to take me on because they already had them. So
Yeah.
eventually they liquidated because they spent all of the voucher monies, would you believe it or not? And then that was my opportunity to get into the
Okay.
banks. But how it works is that I would give them a 10% sort of discount
Okay.
on the vouchers. So essentially I would make less brokerage, commission per voucher I sold.
Yeah.
But it's a closed community group, and it basically gives you access to their clients in emails and closed platforms and stuff. So the trust was already built there. I didn't have to gain the trust, which is so much harder from the outside,
Yeah.
because a client within the bank, if they see your voucher on their platform, they're just going to buy it because they know that you've been vetted and you've been through stringent, checks and stuff to be partnered with the bank. So it
Of
was
course. Yeah.
purely about tenacity and perseverance.
Okay. Okay. Oh no, that was quite a big deal. In fact, it was partnering with the big guys to give you leverage. So basically,
Yes,
yes, it was a win to say.
yes.
Okay. Okay. No, that's beautiful. Uh, okay. So right, if I can ask you, if you have to start again your experience business, uh, do you have anything that you can say you can be able to change, or can just do the same way you did?
Most definitely. I started completely blind. I did no market research. I did no competitor analysis. So I would definitely do that. You know what? I would do a lot of groundwork. I'm one of these people, even my mum says, when I was born, I came out sprinting. So I think what I would do is I would start at the starting blocks and I would take business step by step instead
Okay.
of rushing ahead and then having to go back to the starting blocks all the time. So
Yeah.
I'd build a good framework. I'd give that advice to anybody. Do your market research, do your competitor analysis.
Mhm.
Because the platform and the business model is also e-commerce, I would do a solid course, like a proper deep dive course into digital marketing,
Yeah.
specializing in e-commerce, so that whilst I may have to, and I have had to employ specialists to do a lot of the digital marketing and e-commerce for me, as business owner and main sales lady, I would know the tasks that they should be doing, and I'd be aware if they were doing them or not. And also if you were being ripped off by any specialists or gimmicks.
Yeah.
Um, and I would also definitely simplify the way I began my business. For example, I started with 1,200 experiences and I now sell maybe 180, and only 30 to 50 are actually bestsellers. So
Okay.
I would simplify and start small.
Mm.
That's what I would do differently.
All right. All right. All right. That's quite interesting. So right now, what can you say uh, you are in your business?
Where I am in the business or who I am in the business?
Okay. Where you are, how are
Where
things
you
going at
are.
the moment? Yes.
Okay, so the situation is very different now to what it was pre-pandemic.
Mm.
Pre-pandemic, the business was absolutely cresting. It was doing so well.
Yeah.
And I have to say, the business has taken an absolute beating from the pandemic, in that the industry has been seriously affected. Customers have also learned as a result of the pandemic to deep dive in the internet.
Yeah.
We've been forced online here in South Africa, where we were quite resistant. We now know how to do so much more on our own. We're more self-sufficient online. So I'm finding that clients, the role as middleman and broker,
Mm.
and the business model of Celestial Gifts is becoming obsolete. Okay,
Yeah.
because people are able to book directly a lot of the packages. They've become very clever online. So the only way the business will survive, and is surviving, but certainly not at the levels that it used to, is
Okay.
if I am, which I do already, is to build packages with multiple experiences as part of the package, which they cannot book themselves easily directly.
Okay.
So that's how the business is surviving now. And very sadly, as I mentioned earlier, 80% of my turnover was coming through the rewards and loyalty platforms.
Yeah.
You know, here in South Africa, your average Joe is using their points, unfortunately, for groceries and dog food
Mm.
and house items,
Yes.
instead of spoiling themselves on hot air balloon flights, um, cooking classes, or something special picnics. So,
Yes.
you know, I have lost a lot of business there. And as a result, you know, I have pivoted myself into a space of upskilling myself
Okay.
in digital marketing.
Mm.
And now I actually have a digital agency, which
Mm.
is a business that I've always wanted to have. And I'm helping other clients build their businesses online using exactly the same techniques I have used in my own business for 18 years. So that's
Wonderful.
what I am doing now. And Celestial Gifts is still a stream of income, but it is no longer my main source of income. And
Okay.
it is a direct result of the pandemic.
Okay. Okay. Beautiful. Okay. Let's talk a bit about these digital agents.
Yes.
Yeah. What exactly are you doing there?
Well, what's quite interesting, Blessing, is that I am a workaholic. And when the pandemic arrived,
Yeah.
for the first time in my career of having my business, I was really forced just to be still and sit on my hands, and it drove me crazy. So I found myself ripping apart my business, my processes, my website, everything. I just ripped it all apart and was just exploring, like, how is this all made? How's it put together? Where are we going to go now, etc., etc. And I started upskilling myself in digital marketing and e-commerce. I learned all about search engine marketing. um, I learned about search engine optimization, social media management and marketing, you name it, conversion rate optimization, everything. And I realized how much it fascinated me.
Mm.
And I had always wanted to have my own little digital agency. And it's quite strange how during the pandemic, and as we were coming out of it, people in my, professionals within my peer group were coming to me saying, listen, why don't you, can you help us? I mean, you're not doing anything right now. With events, tourism, and hospitality came to an absolute standstill. It was
Yes.
devastating.
Mm.
And they were like, can you help? And I was like, well, why would you want me to help you? I can't help you. I don't know anything about this. And they're like, yes, you do. Come help. And then the local radio station was doing a big push for new content and helping small business owners get on their feet during the pandemic. And they approached me. I know the owners of our local radio station, Zone Radio, and they invited me to
Okay.
come on the radio. I still appear every 2 weeks. I have a little slot, and we talk about digital transformation.
Okay.
And it was just this reality of how many small businesses really need help getting themselves visibility, getting their website sorted, and learning the techniques of digital marketing that they can do themselves using social media and Google. And that is essentially where I'm going now with coaching, mentoring, keynote speaking, being on the radio, and it's fabulous. I absolutely love it, and the response is great. It's really helping small businesses. So it's something I'm definitely going to continue with.
Wow, beautiful, beautiful. Okay,
Yes.
so are you industry specific, or you are just catering for every small business owner?
It would be industry. Look, I can coach and train digital marketing, but if you wanted me to take on your business and do your Google ads and all of that, I have to have some sort of passion and interest in what you do. Like, for example, Google teaches us that, not to create ads, to create a connection, and that people don't buy. A saying that really resonates with me is that people don't buy goods and services, they buy relations, stories, and magic. So whilst I can train and coach anybody and any business, if a business wanted me to do their Google ads or their lead generation campaigns, I would need to have some sort of connection with the business. If, like, for example, I don't particularly enjoy insurance and stuff like that, so I'd probably decline that. But pretty much all other businesses that are out there, it's quite easy. As long as I can connect with the business, then yes, I would be able to assist them at a deeper level, like doing their ads. But training and coaching, you can pretty much train anybody. Business, the fundamentals of business are the same.
Okay. Wonderful, wonderful. Okay, Odette, thank you so much. Before you go, would you like to tell us some piece of advice that you ever got since you get started?
I can give advice to any small business person or anybody who is in a small, medium, or large business that money follows passion.
Yeah.
So most of us need to find that passion, and so money will follow the passion. Saying that, a lot of us regrettably never find that passion, which is sad. And I think it's all about exposure, what you are exposed to. So perhaps the truth lies there, is to expose yourself to as many industries as you can, to try and find something that ignites within you. Business is also not rocket science. You can take something very simple, that its business is based on need and not want. And ultimately, I would say that for me, my biggest obstacle is procrastination. I am such a procrastinator. So if you can overcome that, if you apply discipline and consistency and knowledge that 10,000 hours makes you a master, then actually you can become a success at anything, whether it is your passion or just a business that is based on need. And obviously, we all need an income to feed our families and, become successful and have a good lifestyle. So it really is about overcoming procrastination, because that for me is definitely my biggest obstacle, and applying discipline and consistency every single day. You do the same thing on repeat, and eventually you have a successful business, whether it is your passion or you're not. You have an income happening there.
Great, great, great. Okay, so where can we learn more about you? If we have to contact you, if we have to read about your businesses, where can we?
So listeners can find me on LinkedIn as Odette Butcher, Odette Butcher. You can find me on, I have my own domain, which is odettebutcher.com.
Okay.
You can have a look at the Celestial Gifts website, which is celestialgifts.co.za. And also you can just send me a WhatsApp, which is 0848 9163. Simple as that. You can just pop me a WhatsApp.
Wonderful, wonderful. Thank you so much, Odette. That was wonderful.
Thanks, Blessing. And yeah.
Thanks for watching. Please make sure you subscribe, like, and share.